spring. We're well into spring. We're getting closer to summer, and that means car show season is kicking off with a big bang. There are a lot of car shows that are coming up. There are big car shows, there are small car shows, there are local car shows, there are morning coffee every week car shows, local, far away. There are so many car shows that you are going to want to be looking into if you are somebody who loves to go to car shows. So I thought that we could kind of talk about those a little bit, kind of do some hot rod talk about Ethel, talk about what's going on. I've been getting a lot of messages asking me, because Viva is this weekend. It's Friday. I film on Friday. I know. I'm in the past, y'all. Y'all are in the future. How's it going out there? I've been getting a lot of messages asking if I'm going to go to Viva. I'm not a Viva attendee. You know, Viva Rockabilly Weekend is like one of the biggest rockabilly meetup car shows that there is at this point, because it's gone on for such a long time, and it's where everybody goes to Vegas and they go to the Viva Rockabilly Weekend. And it's been going on for so long, you know. I used to want to go. I'll just be brutally honest. I used to want to go, of course, because I feel like it's like one of those things where you get to meet up with people who share such a serious passion in the same lifestyle and things that you like as somebody in the custom culture scene, rockabilly scene, pinup scene, hot rod scene, you know, whatever title you want to give it. So it's something that I, of course, for a long time wanted to go to. I never got the opportunity because, you know, just my entire story and the things that I've gone through, like for a long time, there was like always something that came up, and it would either be I didn't have the money to do it because I was busy working my butt off and taking care of my kids as a single mom, or I was a single mom working and I didn't have somebody to watch my kids, or I couldn't leave my kids for that long. Also, it usually for the longest time was on Easter weekend, and again, I had kids, so I would rather be with my kids celebrating Easter than, you know, my kids are my thing. My kids are my jam over anything else. So there was always like a thing that would come up that I just, it wasn't something the meantime that I could make it to. But then it got to the point where I have a really bitter taste in my mouth now for just, I'm not one to like spill tea and talk shit about things, but I was treated really badly by the person who runs Viva over a situation that I had nothing to do with, that I was brought into by his own like performers and people who were involved in, that were like booked as performers for Viva that year, and they decided to target me over something I had nothing to do with. And he was really hypocritical in something that he said, and he handled something really unprofessionally and just really bad. And he could have corrected it. Like, he could have really easily done something to fix the problem that his own event and people he hired created, and he didn't. And I think it was because he was scared to confront these people, and he just kind of hid like a coward, and it was something that really turned me off. And that goes against like the whole thing that he had claimed. Like, the situation was just really unprofessional, and the situation was handled really badly, and the claims that he was making were really hypocritical towards his behavior that he was showing, and I struggle with that type of mentality. So I have a hard time supporting something and going to something when I know something like that and I experience something like that. Like, there's no reason for me to go there. I don't want to go to your event when you were so okay with doing something so just gross to me, when I had nothing to do with anything, when I supported your event. I posted good things about your event and people should go to your event prior. Like, I went above and beyond to try and do all the positive things, and my face was just spitting. So it's not something that I'm going to go to. But also, I don't really like the environment's energy and what it's turned into. I don't think that you would have to participate in it. I think that like if you go with your own friends and you don't participate in the drama and like the clique mentality and the like the show that, you know, there's a lot of people that go there to like show off who's more rockabilly or who's more pinup or who's like you have like the preppy people, like I guess you would say, like the popular groups that show up that think that they're hot shit. And then you have people who are just true blues in the scene that like to go every year and hang out with their friends and they meet up and it's their like reunion. And so I think that there's a lot of really good things that you could participate in within your own groups. So I'm not saying don't go. I'm not saying that you're not going to have a good time. I'm just saying that it's not for me. It's not, I would have been able to, I think, go if I wasn't treated the way I was by the person who puts it on for absolutely zero reasons whatsoever. But that on top of, it's not my jam. There's a lot of car shows that are just as big as Viva, like Lone Star that's about to happen, and Moon Eyes, and there's so many big car shows that are just as great, if not cooler, because they're more centered around like the car scene and the hot rods and like the reasons why, and there's not like really a popularity contest going on with the energy that they evoke. So like when you remove that, it's just more of my speed, I guess you could say. And again, I'm not trying to talk shit, I'm just talking about like personal experiences within myself, like what I've seen. People, so many people talk to me, like I know so much because people come to me for advice on how to handle situations that arise in these events and these shows, and there's a lot of personalities clashing and there's a lot on the table, and shows are a lot to put on. There's money, there's titles, there's advertising, there's marketing, and like there can be a lot of negativity that can come up. So people come to me with issues that they're facing on what's the best way to, I guess, navigate it, and I try to help them as best as I can, because ultimately if you can stay away from it, like if you can just like remove that, and sometimes you have to just be the bigger person even if you shouldn't have to be, you know what I mean? So I try my best to help people navigate those things, but car shows are one of the best parts of this scene. They are always a good time. Like you have to figure out where to not get involved, because it's not necessary, I guess you could say. It's such a waste of time to try and get involved in the politics and the drama and the like popularity bullshit and the rockabilly police will come out in full force. Like just ignore them because they really don't have any authority over anybody. But there's so many car shows that are big, that are amazing, that I would highly recommend you guys go to. You know, you need to spend some time researching what's around you. And then research the bigger ones that you can, you know, travel to, because a lot of these car shows are going to be things that are weekend events that you're going to have to travel to. The Stray Cat 500 in Dewey, Oklahoma is by far one of the best car shows. That's coming up. Lone Star is just literally around the corner. But there's the Good Guys car show, and then there's so many. There's so many, and everybody has a group, everybody has a page, everybody has a website. So you have to seek out that information, and I would highly recommend scheduling out your summer. I would recommend going to like a really big one that you have to travel to, and if you can only make it to one of those, look around locally. There's a lot of car shows that get put on in communities all the time. Car shows are something that a lot of communities put on because they're kind of like poker runs, right? Motorcycle groups and things like that put on poker runs to like raise funds for charities or help people in need that are going through difficult situations, and a lot of times car shows are centered around that type of thing. So there's usually a charity that's involved. There's a way that these car shows are giving back to communities, giving back to charities, raising funds for something that's bigger than, you know, anybody there. Like there's a cause. So I think that that's really beneficial and really badass. And then there's also, you know, car shows that go on just weekly. There's like little car show get-togethers. There's a lot of guys in communities that will set up morning coffee show, like I say morning coffee show, that messed me up because I'm a morning coffee show. But they're like morning coffee car shows where they will meet up in a parking lot, little parking lot get-togethers, and it's not really a car show, but it's like a meetup, and everybody locally who has a hot rod will show up and they'll hang out and they'll get together. And so there's a lot of different ways you can get involved in the car show community and the custom culture community through hot rods and the hot rod scene and things like that. You just got to be willing to look around. You got to be willing to do the searching. There's a lot of things, like if you just search car show plus the city that you're in, on Facebook in the search bar, it brings up so much information because it's kind of like a Google type thing where it just pulls up anything that's mentioned with those things. So like you can do some digging and find some cool shit. And I highly recommend spending your summer doing that because it's a really good time. It's addicting. It's something that you're going to really want to be involved in more and more the more that you go. The hot rod scene and like car shows is such a high. I can't explain it. I really can't. Like every car show that I've ever been to is such a good experience, and like the togetherness of the people that go to car shows, like when you find good groups, there's so many good people at car shows. There's so many just people who want to share their passions, that want to receive people, who want to have a good time, who care about the same things they care about. Like it's a really, really, really good time. So if you are somebody that's like been in the rockabilly scene or the pinup scene and you're like soiled by it, because I get a lot of comments and messages from people who say that they left the scene because of like certain demographics of people that they had to like, just spend more time at car shows. Spend more time with the hot rodders. I promise it'll erase any of the negativity. Like it's really is just like a good vibe and it's good energy, and it's one of my favorite things to do. With that being said, I personally can't make it to a lot of car shows a lot of the time because like I said, I live out in the middle of nowhere and traveling is hard for me because I have a lot of animals and a lot of responsibilities, and we have a lot of kids, and we don't have a lot of people that we can rely on to like handle those things at home to be able to leave for an entire weekend. You know, our kids are homeschooled, so it's easier for that way, but we have a lot of things that keep us from going far from home, which sucks. Like that's probably been like the biggest ping to my soul, is that I don't get to go to as many car shows as I wish I could. There's several that I've been looking at around my town and my community that I'd like to go through. And I want to be able to take Ethel to car shows and be able to at least, you know, take her there, even if she's not really ready to be entered into anything. But that's something that I am consistently working on being able to be a part of more, and I highly recommend that you guys work towards being a part of those because they're a really good time. And I think the car show community, like the people who consistently go to car shows, not just people who are like hot rodders or in the custom culture scene, but people who consistently go to car shows, it's just a really good time. Like I love watching all my friends post their adventures when they go to car shows and they meet up with each other and they spend these weekends doing cool shit together, and they post tons of pictures, and I really enjoy seeing it. It's a good thing. So if you're looking for something to do this summer, start looking up car shows. I promise that you won't regret it. So that's going to be it for